Welcome to the unknown zone, where hidden stories of greatness finally come to light. Today, we uncover the real story behind LeBron James' $90 million Nike deal and the powerful role his mother played behind the scenes. Before he became a billionaire athlete, before championships and MVP trophies, before the world knew him as King James, LeBron James was just a kid from Akron, Ohio, fighting to survive circumstances that tried to break him long before success ever arrived. His mother, Gloria James, was 16 years old when he was born. She raised him alone after her mother passed away, leaving her with no guidance, no partner, and no stability. Their life became a constant cycle of moving, sometimes with friends, sometimes with relatives, sometimes wherever they could stay for a week or a month. In a span of 3 years, they moved 12 times. To young LeBron, home wasn't an address. Home was wherever his mother was. The apartments were small, sometimes cold, sometimes overcrowded, but Gloria tried to keep hope alive. She worked long hours, everything from retail jobs to handing out flyers, anything she could do to keep food on the table. Still, there were days when the electricity was shut off, days when there was no refrigerator full of food, days when Gloria had to choose between rent and bills. LeBron rarely talks about these years in detail, not because he's ashamed, but because the weight of those memories is something only a few people truly understand. One thing that always caught his eye as a child was shoes, especially Air Jordans. To him, Jordans weren't just sneakers. They were a dream, something other kids had, something he admired from a distance. He saw them as a symbol of possibility, of belonging, of being more than the life he was living. But they were expensive, far beyond what Gloria could easily afford. Still, she noticed the way LeBron looked at them. She noticed the way he lit up whenever he saw someone walk into school wearing a pair. And she made a decision. She saved and saved, dollar by dollar, until she finally bought LeBron his first pair of Jordans. LeBron remembers holding that shoebox like it was treasure. He remembers opening it slowly, almost afraid to touch them. To him, those shoes represented hope. And, more importantly, they represented the sacrifices his mother made so he could feel special for once. This moment planted a seed, a belief that he could rise above the circumstances around him. That belief would become the foundation of the biggest decision of his early career. As LeBron grew older, his talent exploded. Football coaches wanted him. Basketball scouts followed him. Reporters wrote about him as if he were already a professional athlete. At 16, he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, something no teenager had ever done. The world called him the chosen one. Most kids would have collapsed under that pressure. LeBron carried it, because he had already lived through pressure far heavier. Poverty, instability, and the fear of losing the only person he depended on. By the time he reached his senior year at St. Vincent St. Mary High School, he wasn't just a basketball star. He was the most highly recruited sneaker prospect in history. Every shoe company knew he would change the industry. They knew that signing LeBron meant signing the future. The bidding war began quietly and then exploded into a frenzy. Adidas's pitch came first. They wanted LeBron badly. Their executives flew out to meet him. They offered him his own signature line, full creative control, and a contract valued near $100 million. They promised him the world, from commercials to global marketing campaigns. For a teenager who grew up with nothing, the numbers were dizzying. But something felt off. Adidas wanted him, but they didn't seem to understand him. Then came Reebok. Reebok knew their only chance was to offer something enormous. They sat down with LeBron and Gloria and put a contract in front of them offering an unheard-of amount, $10 million up front, cash if he signed immediately. LeBron later said it was the most shocking moment of his life. For someone who never had money, who grew up seeing his mother struggle to pay rent, who knew the meaning of survival, $10 million felt unreal. He held the pen in his hand, and for a moment, everything went silent. But then, Gloria spoke. She told her son that money comes and goes, but the right decision lasts forever. She told him not to rush, not to let fear decide, not to sign away his future without understanding what was truly being offered. LeBron put the pen down. That moment, a choice many 18-year-olds could never make, changed his life forever. Then, Nike stepped in. Nike didn't just offer money, they offered a vision. When LeBron arrived at Nike headquarters, he wasn't greeted by executives in suits. He was greeted by storytellers, designers, and creators who had studied his life, his personality, his struggles. They showed him commercials built around his journey. They walked him through museums of Nike history. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tiger Woods, legends whose stories became global movements. And then Nike played a short film they had made about LeBron himself. A film that showed Akron, the poverty, the instability, the little boy with big dreams, and the mother who carried him through it all. When the film ended, Gloria wiped tears from her eyes. In that moment, Nike didn't feel like a company. It felt like home. Nike offered LeBron $87 million over 7 years, later adjusted to $90 million. But the key wasn't the number. It was the belief. Nike didn't just see an athlete, they saw a story. They saw potential for a global brand that would grow for decades. They saw the child holding his first pair of Jordans, and the mother sacrificing everything to put belief in his hands. LeBron knew that Nike wasn't picking him for hype. They were picking him for destiny. The next decision came quietly, without cameras or executives in the room. LeBron sat with Gloria. They talked about their life, their struggles, the moments when they wondered if the world had forgotten them, and the possibility of a future where they never had to fear losing a home again. Gloria told him, "Choose what feels right. Choose who sees your heart." LeBron signed with Nike. The world exploded with headlines. A teenager had just signed the biggest rookie sneaker deal in sports history. But what the headlines never said, what most people still don't know, is that behind that contract was a mother's wisdom, a child's journey, and a belief system forged in the hardest years of their lives. The Nike deal didn't just give LeBron money, it gave him a platform. It gave him a global identity. It paved the way for future lifetime deals worth over $1 billion. And yes, the irony is powerful. The boy who once cried over a pair of Jordan shoes didn't sign with Jordan. He signed with the company that understood the story behind those shoes. LeBron often says he owes everything to his mother, not because she gave him money, but because she gave him the strength to make decisions that honored his past and shaped his future. The Nike deal is not just a business story. It is a story about guidance, about sacrifice, about a young man who trusted his heart, trusted his mother, and chose belief over fear. It is a reminder that greatness often begins not with wealth, but with the people who love us in our weakest moments. Thank you for exploring this untold story of LeBron James. For more hidden truths and powerful real histories, stay connected with The Unknown Zone.